Hey folks, Bill from Little White Dory, and I own a homestead. We're down here in the grow basement. We've got a bunch of stuff on lights, and when I was really pushed up against space issues, we hung a light up top, put out a table. I could lower it, but at this point there's really no need to. These are all doing fine. They're going to get moved right now. And then over here, behind me, there is another grow rack. Let me flip this around. It's easier for me to describe. Yeah, so these are plants that are, certainly well along on their way. I noticed that some of the ones that started out leggy started standing up when they had to reach higher for the light and then leaned in a little bit. Like these are all leaning this way a little bit. Those are all leaning this way a little bit. But this is just a high-intensity LED bulb that's better than nothing. That's all I can say. And as I come around here, which is a little bit of a obstacle course, these things here, these tomatoes here, I'm going to put back on the lamps because they like the heat indoors that I can give them. You can see that there's a little bit, let's see, if I zoom in down here, a little bit of mold issue. I'm going to be spraying that with some hydrogen peroxide mix today. But I have more of a mold issue down here in my peppers. These are going to go outside. I'm hoping that sunlight will take care of that, and a little hydrogen peroxide mix. Okay, so these are peppers that in my records, well, these are not. These are some colder stuff. But the peppers I think I can all put out in my newest greenhouse that I built yesterday. Anyway, so these are, you can see that these all have trays underneath them. They're being raised up to these lights. Tomatoes I can put on here, and they can stay in here for weeks now because they've got plenty of space. So these peppers will go outside. They can handle the cooler temperatures. I have heat. I have a fan if it gets too hot. And out there with some fertilizer mixed in, a little bit of ocean solution, these things should start taking off. The mold should not be an issue. But I wish I saw a little better growth. You can see that the tomatoes from a week earlier look a little bit more advanced, I'll call it. And then let's see if I can shoot it from over here, so I don't have to walk all the way over. But in here, these are also some of the oldest tomatoes that I had from maybe about 4 weeks ago now. And they're on the top. So these now, you see that there's still trays under it. I can lower these down. And once I give them a little fertilizer, they'll be perking up, they'll fill in. So and then you can see we have, looks like 5 more trays to seed there. I've got a bunch more. We bought 30 trays, and I just ordered 30 more 50 seed cells. That's these size here. I find that the 50 seeds, like for instance, right here is a good example. The density, as I push this in, is just perfect. At this size, there's no issues with the size of the plant, really. Occasionally there'll be one cell that doesn't have something. When I have this kind of success, this looks like it might be 2 different kinds. I don't care if there's one that's out. Zinnias over here, occasionally I'll have one that, I don't get a cell, so there's one that doesn't. I should probably go ahead and stick a few seeds into the few cells that I don't and see what happens. I don't care if they're a little behind, only a little bit. And then, just kind of shuffle things around. These will go back onto the lights where I can lower them underneath lights and keep them about. If I zoom in over here, you can see that they're really just below the lights. So those are good to come down a little bit as it is. These are just below the lights. As I come down here, these are smaller sprouts, but again, just below the light so that they don't have to reach too far. All right, and then there's some lettuces in here. There's some things that are not quite really sprouted yet. Down over here, there's a tray that's still on a heat mat. I believe it's, where is it? I think it's that one right there. It's still on heat. If not there, it's, oh, there it is right there. That one's still on heat because if you look, you can see there's not a lot of, there's still some seeds that need to germinate versus that tray right there, which is, fully germinated. And the one on the end there is a little bit slow too. I think they might be eggplant. So they'll just take a little bit longer, but they'll have time. They just didn't pop with the heat. They'll just take a few days more maybe without the heat. All right, so that's it for in here. Let's set this up for a time lapse and you'll see me moving things around.